So as I was explaining with the whole TKO being greedy in terms of the contract deal, so like I said before, I think people think that the reason why that they're releasing their superstars because they're going broke. It's not the fact they're going broke. Is they're basically they're changing the way they spend things, just to keep their profit margins high and satisfy their so-called investors, and they pretty much expect like the veterans and people that currently work there to be okay with just budget cuts. I'm like, nobody wants that. That's freaking wild. But anyways, back to the whole Kofi and Xavier situation. Um, like I said in my previous video, like you know how they do their whole future endeavors, or it was a high stake contra dispute. Nah. It was a whole pay cut demand. The fact that TKO approached to Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston to restructure their contract that they signed just last year, they essentially, I'm not sure I'm saying that right. Essentially, I don't know. But anyways, the company asked them to take a substantial amount of pay cut, with I guess some reports suggesting, which is I believe 50% to stay on the roster. That is freaking wild. Imagine you come into work, right? And then they want you to and they want you to be okay getting half a paycheck, so therefore they can please their so-called investors, their shareholders. Oh, but if you want a job here, then we need to cut half of your check. I'm like, who wants that? No wrestler should be happy with that. That explains why AJ Styles left TNA, back in 2014. Like, can you imagine being there for a long time and then they'd be like, oh, well, we're just going to spend our money differently, so we're going to cut half of your check so therefore the company can stay alive. Like, like, are you kidding me? That's crazy. But anyways, Kofi and Xavier definitely stand their ground, and they decline the pay cut. So that explains why, like they left. So Kofi hinted at this point, do not ever compromise or accept less than you do when it comes to your worth, and that was part of his Instagram post, and that was very, very telling. I gotta read that again. There was this one part: do not ever compromise or accept less than you do when it comes to your worth. That is a very great sentence, because then that means they wouldn't agree to the lower salary, and that means both sides will mutually agree to part ways, and then afterwards they already been moved to like a different section of WWE.com. And then people told me, oh, well, what about Big E, right? I mean, look, like, New Day isn't really gone entirely, but it's not the faction that we once know, right? But because of Big E's neck injury, they had to keep him out of the ring, so that's unfortunate. So he's no longer going to wrestle. So now the question is, what's next? And what's next is they can do the whole 90-day clause. So that means both Kofi and Xavier are currently under a standard 90-day non-complete clause. So they left in May, right? So June, July, August, they can go to any company once the 90 days are up. So so as of this moment, still in this moment, they can't show up into another wrestling show like AEW or TNA until August of this year. Xavier Woods, however, has already updated his social media to reflect his real name, which is Austin Creed, and I think he's still on the sure. What was his brand? Up, down, down. Is that thing even still? I think it is. I mean, I don't really watch it that much. Anyways, the whole massive shit with WWE has been crazy, very crazy, and I think they're doing the same negotiation when it comes to what's this dude name? I forgot. Not Austin Theory. Oh my goodness. Damn, what was his name? LA Knight. There you go. Like, come on, man, that is crazy. Like, no wrestler should be okay with any budget cut. That is crazy. but explains why Kofi felt the way he felt when he posted that. Because imagine being okay with a budget cut just for you to be staying on the show and to be on camera. I'm like, well, it's great to be on camera, but like, who who really wants to be okay with a less budget cut? Because you're there to get paid really well and entertain the fans. And if you're not getting paid very well, then I don't blame them for just leaving, because this is like their bread and butter. This is how they help themselves or they help their family, you know? And if I hear stories when it comes to Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns getting that same effect, that would be wild. Very wild. But I mean, it's like WWE is already changing as it is. We're already seeing more celebrities on the show than actual WWE superstars. They already rely, when it comes to ChatGPT, than actual real creative writers. They're already making like different changes into spending, so therefore they can please their investors. This is nuts, man. Very nuts. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. You know, what happened when the time comes? Will they go to another wrestling product? Will they go somewhere else? Who knows? It's up in the air when the 90-day clause is over.